It was a week of the underdogs in match week 11 of the MTN Premier League, with Tabangulu Kellys, Dinyosi and Vovovo all causing major upsets in their weekend fixtures. It was another disappointing result for Denver Sundowns when they welcomed the seabeds at the Mavusa Sports Centre. Sundowns, who've only managed to win 3 games so far this season, were hoping for better luck against a highly motivated seabeds who wanted nothing more than a top 4 entry. Christian Pala, who is having a rather successful spell at seabeds, made no major changes to the side that won against Rangers in their last outing. This time around, he decided to go with the 4-2-3-1 formation that has seen many teams struggling to bridge his defense. Basa Pikapakapa got the honours to get the match underway, but it was seabeds who got the first real chance at goal, with striker Sandumuzi Zwane finding the net only to be ruled offside. Minutes later, seabeds were at it again, this time around goalkeeper Bafana Kwebu launching the attack from the back to find forward Zwane, who made no mistake, tapping to the net, leaving goalkeeper Lwethu Smilane with no chance at all. A crucial lead for Inyoni Zolwandle after 7 minutes of play. Seabeds were not slowing down as they continued throwing all they can to the host in search of their second of the match. They were well rewarded though through Wandile Nhlego, who made no mistake after working through 8 Denver Sundowns players. "2-0 to Inyoni Zolwandle, taking an all-important 2-goal cushion to half-time. In the second half, seabeds continued where they left off, coming close to extending their lead. Inyoni Zolwandle missed out on a chance to put the game beyond Sundowns in the closing stages of the game. It was end-to-end stuff, and one could sense Sundowns' urgency with the hope to rescue the match and get something out of it. Mangoba Spider Masego with a moment of brilliance, restoring some hope in Sundowns' faithfuls. It's how the match will eventually end, 2-1 in favor of the visitors, Manzini seabeds climbing up to the 3rd spot on 23 points.
Ngiyabonga abadlali ukuthi we able to get lo 3 points ngoba bomcoka lo 3 points wanamuhla.
Game of 2 halves coach, sibonile mhlawumbe second half angabuyi udlala first half uye the second half. What changed?
Sundowns with a counter way kulokwehlisa in the first half, but were able to siba absorb. They tried to come to us in a satama to siba absorb the second half. Otherwise, first half, like you say, it was a game of 2 halves. We were a better team first half, but we missed so many chances. And second half, now they came to us and they got the only goal.
How important is the win?
Mcoka le win ngoba sonke salibalekele relegation na ubukanyana usetelo safe.
Yeah man, I think I don't know what happened, but I think we played well. Okay, fine, we didn't start well because we didn't have much time to warm up and we conceded early 8 minutes. Actually we didn't warm up, so I didn't blame my boss for conceding such an early goal because they were still not okay. But then the second goal, I think it was uncalled for. We could have do something to prevent it. Okay, and then after all, yeah, we played well. Fine, first half we failed to create some chances. Maybe because we were using 4-5-1, maybe our striker was too isolated and there was no link between him and the midfielders, and we lost most of the balls in the final third and they countered us. So, but then second half we tried to 8 numbers up front, played 4-4-2, we created more chances. I think I think this game, it's one reason Christians need to isolate themselves from football, because their football is at all. Because when you watch the game, you will say Sundowns is leading, but then the score tells something else.
Pirates' 7-game unbeaten run came to a halt in the hands of a resurgent Mbabane Swallows at the Mavuso Sports Centre on Saturday afternoon. The appointment of Musa Manyati and Siyabonga Pembe on interim basis as leaders proves to be the right omen for the beautiful Bears as they maintained a 100% win record in their last 2 games. The start saw 2 long balls that were not threatening to either side. Swallows had the perfect start to the game, Felix Badenhorst testing the keeper with a well-taken grass shot slightly off the target. As Swallows, who looked more of a team that made it out of the group stages of the CAF Champions League, were more threatening and proving why they were a winning combination. The reuniting of former Mbombela United striker Badenhorst, former Polokwane FC player Banele Bobus Konze and Sfiso Mabila was all needed for Swallows to find an opener. 1-0 to Swallows, much to the delight of their fans. Pirates were in search of a quick response to that, but goalkeeper Sandile Nkomishi was not having it at all. Soon after that, there was a heated encounter as Paris striker was fouled inside the penalty box. Swallows held on to take a 1-0 lead at half-time. The second stanza saw Pupu breathing in some life into the match with a well-taken shot to extend Swallows' lead. The Buccaneers came close to scoring, forcing a save from Gininza. Pupu was a marvel to watch on the day, alongside the K10 Tony Titi Tabete, who led by example. A little bit of flair and Zamayas here and there. A solid showing for Swallows, and they were not to be denied their third to wrap up the match. The Sea Robbers were handed a lifeline in the closing stages of the second half when they were awarded a penalty. However, it wasn't to be as Meshaklu Shaba hit the goal post. Pirates unable to build any pressure up front, allowing Swallows to cruise to a comfortable victory. That's how the match will end, with the beautiful Bears flying high.
I think our boys, they showed character. Now, in the past 2 games, we have they are showing character. The emphasis it was more on forward passes, and let's make sure that we force them to defend their box. So, as a result, we caught them unaware of my transitions because this force are singing in the box and then they defend the box.
No,
Ngicabanga ukuthi sidlale kahle. It's just that the difference today was that we didn't score. We were playing a quality team, a good team. No, they prepared well for us. And actually in this game we are the biggest learners. We have learned something in this game. We are going to correct this team. And I don't think it was a tense match. It was just one of those days where you have a bad day in the office. But otherwise we still remain a good team. I'm proud of the way the boys they played. Although I noticed that there was a little bit of some anxiety, they were scared somewhere. I think that resulted in the second goal. But we are still a good team.
Young Buffaloes welcomed a struggling Malandi Chiefs at Galanga Technical Center on Sunday afternoon. Sabelo Mnisi's charges have not been in their best form so far this season, and a matchup with Malandi was inspirational enough to see them return to their magical form that has seen them dominate teams over the years. Malandi, who have only managed 2 wins in their last 20 meetings with Amatole, went with the traditional 4-3-3 formation. The Army outfit, who are in a building process, building from their 2-0 win against Tambuti, kept the same pool of players, except for defender Boniso Mamba, who was out serving his yellow card suspension. The early exchange saw Gwaketfala smashing it home for the host after a foul on Ali Mate outside the box. Immediately after that, the Boardmas rule in mathematics was to be applied with Zweli Fagut's leveling matters straight from the center restart. Perfect response from Malandi. Amatole were a bit unsettled as Malandi continued applying pressure, forcing an error from goalkeeper Pumlani Ngobese, an error that went unpunished. Young Buffalo's captain Ndodam Tsetfa showed the boys how it's done, restoring Young Buffalo's lead in the 40th minute. Lindelani Dlamini had a chance to level matters again for Malandi, but his header was way off the post. It was clear to see that things weren't going as planned for Malandi, and the frustration spilling off onto Malandi's bench, seeing assistant coach Sbusiso Spogo Dlamini being cautioned. Two minutes into the second stanza, Ali Mate registered a third for Young Buffaloes, capitalizing on a defense error. The action of the field was as intense as on the field, as Dlamini picked up his second yellow on the day and given the marching orders. A tactical switch for Coach Mnisi, one that will go to solidify Young Buffalo's win, Sfiso Mabuza in for Ali Mate. it was an issue of Mdina as Mabuza extended Amatole's lead deep into the second half. Mazibugo was not done as yet, getting his brace, fifth for the host to wrap up the match for Amatole. In the words of Andile Mbisana, kukhona umcimbi la yamnanzi party. The party starters getting things going.
Dansi team beyilungiselele silokuqala liviki vile simusele malandi asithuku nje lama results satholile namhla namagoli, so vele we working so hard for ama results positive. Dansi team say right seyibuyile nyalo, so stay focused konke kwenda konyalo silungela simane 3 points every game leyodlala.
Khona ukuthi i-team seyibuyile besides ukudlala kumalandi ngabe nibuka ukuthi at least first round nikoleke ngakho ama-points wanikhazela ikuphi kuleague ngokuphela kwe-first round.
We're not going for carrot or what. Cabanga ukuthi our main focus nyalo ukuthi sithole 3 points in each and every game ezidlalako, then sitawubona ukuthi isibeka kuphi first round, but nje each and every game ezidlalako nyalo our main focus ukuthi sithole 3 points, then we're done.
Lamagoli lang-5 as a captain ngiphi dlala ikujabusile?
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngaba kunalile kuphaselana, then iphaseli net ukuze kungekho goalkeeper, so ngicabanga ukuthi lelo it was the goal of the week because bubukosi iphaseli net and they were passing each other lakhona kase-netini, so it means there is a team le right now.
All right, thank you, captain.
Thanks so much.
No, igame ibe right first half, manage ukuthi si manage kahle igame, then I think sibe ne problem ye hit and the traveling ukusuka eMbabane size la, but all in all is consider amagoli amaningi, which I think is nesinkinga ye defense, but we're still working on it.
Dinyosi, who have dominated Wanderers in recent times, having claimed 4 points last season, were riding on that luck when they welcomed Wanderers at Galanga out in Sitegi. Dinyosi were first on attack through Mpukugo, Dlamini and William Gunene, failing to make something out of it. Wanderers should have grabbed the lead in the 30th minute with Patizwe Mabuza's effort coming off the crossbar. Bongiswa Dlamini made a comfortable save after a long-range effort from Gunene. Mabuza missed a glorious opportunity to open matters for the visitors in the closing stages of the first half. Stanza started off with Wanderers players having a run in their goalpost in an attempt to get rid of any bad omen that might have been left by the opposition. Speed trap kind of vibes. The restart of the second half saw Melusim Kwanaze being denied a penalty after Wanderers defender handling the ball. Dinyosi should have gotten their opener from a set piece, but goalkeeper Dlamini was well positioned. The Lobamba-based team combined well to get their opener courtesy of Mfundo Similane. Dinyosi held on to a resounding 1-0 win over Wanderers.
Against a big team like Manzini Wanderers, who have been consistent on their results. But I'm happy our game plan worked, tactical discipline. You could see we were winning the duels. We showed that we were hungry, we were fighting for our lives. And we wanted to get them on the break. That is why we could have scored 3-4 goals.
Like ngakutshela Pembe last week ukuthi I think bafana badlala kahle, but bekushoda nje leyo nhlanhla ukuthi bawine ama games. Today it was one of those games whereby we needed ukuthi sijikele khona le losing streak. Ngicabanga ukuthi le win lena i-motivation lenkulu going to the next game, bese i-match needed kakhulu in the team, bese desperate for the 3 point. Ngicabanga ukuthi credit ngayinika ku structure sonke setinyosi, starting from the directors down to the players. Ngicabanga ukuthi after the lama defeat like 3 sihlale phansi senda lento lekuthiwa self inspection, sibuke ukuthi ngabe kushoda kuphi nakuphi, umbuzo nalo uyalungisa ku department yakhe. Okay, last week in terms of depth, it's one of the rules lakhona in terms of ukudlala nemaphoyisa nanani. We've got many players la bemaphoyiseni of which bebang affiliate le game lesakho.
All right, all the best in the next game.
Sharp TV.
Hot at the heels of Royal Leopard, Babane Highlanders were hoping to keep up with the leaders when they travelled to Prince of Wales Stadium to face Volvo FC in a late afternoon encounter. Sunday's encounter saw the return of Volvo's top strikers Busiswa Tfala up front. Menzimamba was the only change for Inkunzi, coming in for Simpiwe Manana. Inkunzi got things going with their first attempted goal, falling to Tony Majanja, but keeper Innocent Aja was well up for the challenge. Vovovo's Siyabonga Zwane had the first run in for the host, his effort well off the mark. Sanele Mkweli's free kick failed to produce any result after some proper defending from Vovovo's backline. That will be the last action of the first 45 minutes. Minutes into the half, Innocent Dlamini's left foot shot was enough to give Vovovo a much-needed lead. Well deserved. Aristo Damuza was lucky not to pick up a red card after an opposite start challenge on Kosinati Fagutse. Scully missed out on a glorious chance to level matters for Highlanders. Inkunzi thought they've equalized through Sanele Mkweli, but it wasn't to be as the goal was ruled offside. That's how the match would end, 1-0 in favor of Vovovo. Ziyakhala ke manje.
No, sebenzekile kakhulu ngajabula for the 3 points. I couldn't game for Highlanders. It's not easy, but for the match ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi sikhonile ku maintainer. Sakhona phuma no 3 points awini sekhaya. Yeah, it was very tough. Yo, it was not easy, so well done for the Machita, the coaching staff, everyone, the management.
It was a tough game, but we created a lot of chances, then we missed it. Then they got only one chance, then they convert. Football is like that. If you create a chance, you must convert. Because if you don't convert, they'll get a chance and they'll convert.
And now for the rest of your results. Struggling Green Mamba couldn't find their footing against the Rangers in a match that ended in a 1-0 draw. Tabangulu Kellys are doing the Lord's work to limit leaders Royal Leopard, and Tambuti holding Milling Hotspur to a 1-0 draw. After week 11 of games, Leopards are still leading the pack with 25 points, followed closely by Highlanders with just a point separating the two sides. Seabeds are up there chilling with the big boys, rounding up the top 3. The bottom 3 features Rangers, Tambuti and Malandi Chiefs, who are very familiar with that position. The next round of games will be highlighted by the biggest fixture in Swazi football calendar, pitting Mbabane's most followed teams to what is known as the Mbabane Derby. The first stop, though, will be in Hlangano out at the King Sopuza, the second Memorial Stadium, where Rangers will play host to Vovovo. Milling Hotspur will welcome Manzini Seabeds at Galanga in Sitegi. On Sunday, Sundowns will travel to Tabangulu to face Tabangulu Kellys, and the big one indeed being the Mbabane Derby, pitting Mbabane Highlanders and Mbabane Swallows.